This is Lily, and she's here to celebrate International Dog Day, the day we dedicate to man's best friend. Our dogs have worked selflessly to keep us safe, bring us comfort, and even save lives. Today, we say thank you to our best friend with a treat, or maybe even a donation to an animal shelter, or by giving them a kind home. They come with hearts overflowing with love. Welcome to Kaleidoscope with me, Savithri Rodrigo. Up ahead, a warrior for inclusion. Is Sri Lanka's economy moving backwards or forwards? Navigating entrepreneurship and preserving the craft of an island, plus lots more. Keep us on your radar, subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn.
Did you know you can open a digital fixed deposit with just 5,000 rupees? Open a CDB iDeposit digital fixed deposit today. CDB, your friend.
This is our weekly roundup on CDB Snapshot. Sri Lanka's economy is expected to contract by 8% in 2022 compared to a contraction of 7.5% last year. Sri Lanka's non-performing loan ratio is expected to reach 8% by end 2022, a 3.5% increase from 2021. Good news from the Sri Lankan apparel sector. July exports moved up by 22.6% year-on-year to $522 million. Alarming news from the tea sector. Production in July drops to a 21-year low of 19.8 million kilos, a 25% drop compared to last year. French tour operator Club Med declares Bali as the world's happiest tourist destination, while Dubai came in second. A 17-year-old becomes the youngest to fly solo around the world, covering 52 countries over 5 continents. A museum in Washington returns a 1,000-year-old gospel looted from a Greek monastery during World War I to the Greek Orthodox Church.
We are here to better your lives and champion your every goal. With 12 billion rupees worth of customer benefits in 2020 and a life insurance fund worth over 100 billion rupees, our strength is your strength. You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
Welcome to Srilanka Life News Capsule. For the first time in 20 years, Sri Lanka's trade balance recorded a surplus of $21 million. The trend is likely to continue in July as well. However, inflation continues to rise, and this week, import restrictions were imposed on more than 300 items, which in the mid to longer term may seem counterproductive to Sri Lanka's economic goals. I chatted with economist at Frontier Research and former consultant at the ADB, Chayu Damsingha, for some explanations. Chayu, with imports being restricted and the positive trade balance over the last 2 months, would that mean that we really don't need that IMF bailout?
I don't think that means that we don't need an IMF program anymore. This is just a one short, very, very short-term solution. So the IMF is part of the next bit of the solution, making sure that we get out of this properly, that we have the money to deal with it. Because the import compression that we're going through right now comes with the massive recession. So unless we want to maintain that recession, we'll have to come out of this situation, and then the IMF package, then the multilateral financing that opens up, then the ability for us to deal with the debt restructuring after that. All of that is part and parcel of the same. So we definitely do still need to go ahead with that same pathway. There is no real alternative outside of the short term for that.
So just this week, restrictions were imposed on more than 300 items, and some of these were machinery and tools required for the local industry. Aren't we just putting another hurdle in place at a time when we're actually striving to increase our trade surplus?
The recent import restriction very much, a little bit on consumer goods, but a lot of it on investment goods as well. And that, once again, I think comes from the fact that the government is, for some reason or the other, trying to conserve more foreign exchange right now. So then there is a little bit of a contradiction. If we are already meeting our trade requirements, why do we need further import bans? That is a question, and that remains unanswered still. Hopefully we get more clarity on that in the days to come. Our export growth has mostly come from the larger exporters, and the import compression, especially for domestic consumption related imports. That's not just direct consumer imports, but imports required for domestic production have been falling as a result of that sharp recession we're in.
So inflation has continued to skyrocket, with July inflation at 66.7% and food inflation at a whopping 82% year on year. However, CBSL Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe is optimistic and on record saying that inflation will not surpass 70% as projected in 2022. Is this realistic?
The rising inflation after the big surge that happened as a result of the depreciation of the currency, and that depreciation itself was driven by the imbalance in our dollars, the inflows and outflows of the last year or even longer. And now the inflation is mostly driven by adjustments on prices. So electricity tariffs, water tariffs, the recent kerosene price increase, these things could feed into inflation moving forward. But as long as the rupee does not see another sharp depreciation, the demand side of what causes inflation is already being handled.
So let's see how our markets fared this week. News from the Colombo Stock Exchange. This week, the all share price index moved up slightly by 1.3%, with the average daily turnover at 3.1 billion rupees. WTI oil rose slightly over $95 per barrel as Russian oil exports were disrupted and the looming possibility of major producers cutting output. Gold held firm at above $1,750 per ounce as the US dollar weakened slightly. A tin of canned fish is a staple in most Sri Lankan households, but finding the perfect canned fish for your table can be quite a challenge. That's what pushed founder of Bluefish, Bhagya Sandakalum, to embark on her business using export quality fish with an authentic Sri Lankan flavour. Part of an initiative organised by Hatch through its program Accelerate Her to develop women entrepreneurs to upscale business, Bhagya talks about her beginnings and her plans for Bluefish.
I have started Bluefish as a solution for the issues which I have faced during my own weight loss journey. It's been really difficult for me to find ready-to-eat, good, healthy protein source as per my diet plan. So I have started Bluefish as a solution for that. All our products are made using sustainably sourced export quality fish, and our products are made using only the healthy ingredients without any preservatives or flavors. Especially, our products are freshly made, pairing with Sri Lankan spices by giving authentic, unique flavors and taste.
Living in a luxury pod that floats above the ocean may seem like something out of science fiction, but it becomes a reality. Because at a price of $1.5 million, you may become the owner of the world's first eco-restorative home. Too busy to read? Well, now you can manage to read even with a terribly busy schedule. Learn speed reading with Sanjeev. Let us know and we'll give you a program absolutely free, and you can join from wherever you are in the world. According to the United Nations, each year between 3,000 to 5,000 infants around the world are born with Down syndrome. But despite the headway made around the world, Sri Lanka still has a long way to go in terms of raising awareness and eradicating the marginalization faced by those with Down syndrome. Sri Lankan Italian writer and advocate for Down syndrome, Angela Bertoni, brings us one step closer to that goal. Angela was the first student with Down syndrome to do her O-levels in Malta and is one of the 4 recipients of the Artivisti Award by the Arts Council of Malta. She's also an executive committee member of the Commonwealth Children and Youth Disability Network and one of the 10 members in the Young People Disability Rights Forum of the Malta's Commission for the Rights of Persons with Disability. Angela, welcome to Sri Lanka and welcome to our program. Good to have you on the show. You're an absolute inspiration. You've been an advocate and an inspiration for people with Down syndrome. And you're just 21. What put you into this role?
Well, back in 2019, I was given a European funding to go abroad. So I was in London for 3 weeks and I took part in this inclusive theatre called Chicken Thread, which caters for all types of inclusivity, not just on disabilities. And it showed me that inclusion can be possible. So in Malta, I took part in the Opening Doors Association, which is a theatre group for adults with intellectual disabilities. And with them, they have given me the opportunity to take part in one of Malta's two fast mixed ability performances. One called The Victory and the other one called Out of Maniacs, which is for children.
You're a writer, you're an actress, and you're an activist who has Down syndrome. What were the challenges you faced in your inspirational journey? How do you see people reacting to you?
Well, in Malta, the mentality is different. It's like they can talk down to you. They don't act like you understand much. Or sometimes they like to overprotect you. In my case, it's not really because I have Down syndrome. It's because I look young.
That's a nice feeling.
Kind of.
So you've already published 4 books. I have 2 of them here. But tell me about your new book. I understand it's for young adults and the main character is loosely based on you.
So this book is our own voice book. And it's a complicated love story with a character who has Down syndrome and is dating a boy who does not have any disability.
So what do you think can be done to improve inclusivity and awareness on Down syndrome here in Sri Lanka?
I think that it needs to be talked about more awareness to be raised, and also to target children at school, especially from a young age, because that is the root of our kids start to learn how to treat other people who are different to them, and it will also improve the training of parents, of teachers, carers, and those around that person of disabilities.
So what do you want others to know about people with Down syndrome? Basically, what should people do and not do when they meet a person with Down syndrome?
Well, the first time you meet a person with Down syndrome is to treat them as your equal, as your full equal. Because yes, we were born with Down syndrome, but that does not define who we are. Because we're entitled to have the same rights as every one of you do.
Angela, I loved this brief chat and also the amount of inspiration you give others, not just people with disabilities, not just people with Down syndrome, but people in general and young people, that you can do anything you want if you set your mind to it. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Sri Lanka has long maintained a rich culture and history of craft. However, the recent pandemic and crises have seen local artisans and communities facing numerous difficulties. This is where Celine Handlooms and the Isle of Rata step in, joining forces to showcase Sri Lanka's handloom and craft. On Life in 60 today is Selina Piris walking us through Rata at Celine.
We launched a collaboration with Isle of Rata, a craft market that celebrates crafts from all around Sri Lanka, from Viralu to pottery to ceramics to wooden products to batik, and we are very pleased to have them at Celine. They will be selling their product in our stores from here onward, and today was really about 2 brands coming together to really protect the heritage of craft in Sri Lanka. Isle of Rata was founded by Heshani and Nilu, and the 3 of us are friends and really passionate about, like I said, protecting craft in Sri Lanka. So come to Celine and find Isle of Rata and celebrate craft.
And it's goodbye from Lily and I. Until next Friday, here's our Kaleidoscope takeaway. Dogs are not our whole lives, but they do make our lives whole.